Supervisors, we will reconvene. At this point in time, we've reached the 7:30 or closely thereafter public comment section. And at this point in time, anyone who would like to address the board regarding any matter may do so at this time. Usually it's any matter that's not a public hearing, and since we don't have any public hearings tonight, you may come and address the board at any matter or regarding any matter. If you would like to do so, please come forward to the mic, state your name and your voting district if possible. So is there anyone who would like to speak to the board tonight regarding any matter?
Since I'm up front, I thought I'd go first. I'm Doug Terry. I'm with the Bowling Green District. Just want to make a comment to you guys. Appreciate the funds that y'all have delivered to us for down in the Sparta Fire Department on trying to rebuild, remodel some of that, getting it back from the flood damage. Work is going along smoothly. I think we've got paint on the walls now, and hopefully within the next week or two we'll be back in there, full time and everything. The trucks are back in, and we're operating out at the best we can with what we got to work with. Another concern of mine is the representation of the volunteers within things that goes on in the county as far as the policies, procedures. We're working on trying to revitalize the CCEO, and we got some other chiefs here, department representation here, and I can speak a little further on than I can. We try to get along real good with the county. We think we do. We work together. We work together with these other departments, and we think a whole lot of them because they back us up and we back them up. That's why we work so good together. So, if they got a problem, then we want to try to work forward and try to solve some of the issues that they have. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Terry. And Mr. Terry, you can thank Mr. Williams because it was his excellent presentation that got the funding for Sparta.
Mr. Thomas?
Well, let's let everybody else talk. I was just kidding. I should have done that.
Mr. Chairman, Scott Mosier, Bowling Green District.
Mr. Mosier?
Mark Garnett, of course. We would like to express our extreme gratitude to all the fire and rescue people that assisted us with the Robert Woods Jr. search. It was a tremendous effort on everybody's part, including all the citizens of Caroline that came out and assisted us during the search in the Hanover area. From Sunday night on until he was located, we actually conducted searches on the Caroline side as well. So it was a tremendous effort, and it really gives you a whole new look on humanity and how everybody pulled together, and it was a good feeling for everybody to find the boy safe and alive, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Thank you, Major Mosier,
right.
and forgive me for not acknowledging you first on that because you did a great job, and I'm sure the family's very appreciative, and the county, the entire county is extremely proud.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. And I won't make any more comments for public comments. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding any matter?
Afternoon. Bo Norton, District Chief, Ladysmith Fire, Madison District. Had a couple things I'm here representing tonight. The CCEUO. We would like to ask the board if there's possible for one of the volunteer chiefs, when the organization or group is put together for rehiring of a new county chief, if one of the district chiefs could be on that board. We think that there's a lot of experience in this county, and we'd like to be representative for the volunteers or the volunteer chiefs. Not to say who to hire or when to hire, just we'd like to sit in on that process just to give some questions and answers if it's possible. Second thing, the CCEUO would like to the document on the emergency service ordinance. Once the new chief is hired, the volunteer district chiefs would like to either meet with the chief or who you designate as a person to clarify some of the things so we'll know where we stand, or maybe could look at some of the things in there that we feel that's maybe not in good standings or good position for the volunteers. We'd like for y'all to please give us a chance to talk to someone. I'm not sure if there was a volunteer chief or that was in on when this ordinance was done, but we would like a chance to talk to you or be there. And we appreciate all the work you've done and the service you've done of us. Why, at Ladysmith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Linda Keith, this time I'm Bowling Green. Thank you very much.
2.
Well, hey, you made that decision, not me.
I didn't, but okay.
I am speaking on the behalf of the schools, and once again, I think you're all well aware of the fact that the budget is not, or the funding for the school as projected did not come in for where they expected it to be for the new school. And I would like to recommend that you do fully fund the school. It is important that we start yay high and work our way up. And if we want this community to build on anything, we need to start building on the children. And, you know, you keep talking about this YMCA stuff, and YMCA is a great organization if they want to be here. And if they really wanted to be here, they would find a way to get here. We shouldn't have to pay for it ourselves. It shouldn't come out of proffers. If they want to be here, let them be here. If they don't, find somebody else who wants to be here. They're going to find a way to get here and let them in. But why do we have to pay for it and then pay for the dues or the membership fees that go along with it? When that money that you're setting aside for a YMCA, and now talking about something about roads in order to move forward on the YMCA, you're taking away from our children. And you keep borrowing money that these little ones are going to have to pay for, and if they don't have the education to pay for that stuff, it's just going to keep going downhill. If you don't understand, it's just, you got to wrap your minds around it. It starts here. It doesn't start here. It doesn't start with you. It starts with the little guys. We take them to school every day, and they're brought there to learn how to become adults. And if you're not going to fully fund this school, how are these children supposed to be able to get a job and pay the debt that you're going to create on them to begin with? And this isn't even the icing on the cake. Big government has done it to them already. Why do you have to do it to them? Just, you know, the YMCA can wait. Ladysmith can wait. These kids can't wait. They're required to be in school. So why don't you make it a nice place for them? We have wonderful teachers. We have wonderful staff. Why don't you use the resources that you have and make it a good place? Make it the best that it can be so that they can be the best that they can be. I'm a mother of 3, and I do my damnedest to make sure my kids go where they need to go, and they're going to make it where they need to be. But there are thousands of people out there who can't do it for their kids. Don't make those kids end up being at the bottom of the chain because you have decided to do this to them. And remember, guys, this is an election year. You want to do the right thing? Look in your hearts to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as you may agree or disagree, would you please refrain from applause? Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sherry Marshall. I'm in the Reedy Church District. I'm here representing the Bowling Green Elementary PTA. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to speak. We'd like to talk to you about the school funding. We strongly believe you need to find the funding to support the new elementary school. Notice I have used the word new. It's not a new school. It's just a renovation in addition to an existing school. That's all we're asking for. These students represent our future and the county's future. Each of you want to increase business, jobs, homes, and we all know a vital piece of this plan is to have schools and buildings that demonstrate the great education that the teachers and administrators are providing within those walls. The students deserve a great educational environment to thrive and grow and be the future business leaders, board members, homeowners, and community members of this county if we can keep them here. If we can't offer them what they need, they may not stay. Funding was found to build the new Lewis and Clark Elementary, to renovate Madison Elementary, and even some to renovate Bowling Green Primary, but nothing was done to Bowling Green Elementary because we were going to get a new school. Now is the time for us to get that new school with your help. We need approval for the funding to cover the gap for school renovations, not because we need additional amenities, but because we need basics. Whether gym, classroom size, or library, each area plays an important and vital role in the future of our students. I would like to address a few new features of the school plan. Regarding the gymnasium, a dedicated gymnasium is needed to meet the needs of the student body. This new gym needs to be one attached to the school building and not shared with a public facility where security and outside access may be an issue. I would also like to address safety. We all know violence and violent acts are a concerning part of our world today. The design of the renovations gives an entrance exit as well as student travel throughout the campus and increased security that each student needs. At BGE today, you cannot enter the front of the building without ringing a buzzer and being granted admittance. However, the trailers in the back of the building are not secure like the main building. And the students have to travel outside in the elements several times a day to go to different classrooms and activities. Caroline County has invested 2 years of planning and work into this project already. Bonds have been secured and a timeline of when this project needs to be done are laid out. Without the extra funding, we will not be able to move forward with this project, and this opportunity may not be available to us at a later date. Thank you for the time to speak. I hope each of you make the right decision and fully support the budget needed to build the right school for the future of Bowling Green. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to present these to you. These are forms that were signed by parents of Bowling Green Primary and Bowling Green Elementary that were sent out Friday, and this is how many we've received already. Well over 200. We'd like to present that to you, who support full funding for our school. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there...
Good evening, Chairman, Board of Supervisors.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight to support full funding.
Before you go, you got to tell us your name.
Felicia Smithers, Reedy Church District.
We need that.
I'm here to support full funding of the renovation of the Bowling Green Primary School into a pre-K through 5 elementary school. Initially, I was an ambivalent proponent of the pre-K through 5 concept, even though my children had previously attended such schools. Growing up in Caroline County some decades ago, I remember going from the primary school to the elementary school. I thought it was a good setup. However, now that I have a daughter who's made the transition from primary school to elementary, I firmly believe pre-K through 5 is the better concept. With pre-K through 5, there is continuity from one year to the next for 6 years that you don't have with the current way the schools are set up. A student who has a history, for instance, of struggling with a particular subject doesn't have to start anew with that struggle, with a new set of support systems and new administrators learning how to deal with that student's issues in a new school. The staff will, in the pre-K through 5 school, the staff will already be aware of and will have an educational bridge already established through each grade level to support that student. I also believe it's better for the parents. I think parents will be more invested in supporting the school in various ways if they are part of it for 6 years instead of only 3 or 4 as they are now. We can save on resources, no longer having to light and have light and water in 2 schools, no longer having to split maintenance services for 2 buildings. Buses will only have one stop to make instead of going to both of the schools. Also, I believe that good schools strengthen the local economy. I think that one of the things that businesses look for when they choose to relocate or to locate are the school systems. You know, any business that's relocating, they're going to bring a certain portion of their current employees with them, and they're going to need to have a good place for those employees to go. We don't want them going to Spotsylvania. We don't want them going to Hanover. We want them to come to Caroline because we want to build this local economy. Please fully fund this school renovation soon. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lori Askew from Reedy Church. I am actually here to support also the full funding of Bowling Green Elementary, Bowling Green Primary School. I'm a special education teacher at Bowling Green Elementary, so I fully support this. I don't have a planned speech for you. I just want you to know that I represent a lot of the all the teachers, not a lot of them, that we desperately need this school to be fully funded. Until you walk in our shoes on a daily basis and see what we have to go through every day and the supports that we need, the resources that we need, having the two schools together, as the young lady that was here before me, I'm going to piggyback on what she's saying, it will bring a cohesiveness that we do not have now. With that cohesiveness, our test scores will go up, therefore Caroline County's educational system will improve. So I just would like for you to fully fund this school system as far as the Bowling Green Elementary and Primary School goes. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
I typed it this time. Maybe I can breathe.
You have all the time you want. Well, almost.
Oh, thank you.
My mistake.
Karen Lambert, Reedy Church District. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board, Mr. Parton, staff, and everyone. I am responding to statements made during meetings in response to citizens' comments. I continually hear a couple of supervisors refer to a person's right to do what they want with their property and rezoning and special exemption actions brought before you. As others of you know, the current zoning of a property affords the property owner certain rights that may be exercised in allowable ways. When you ask for a rezoning or special exemption, you may be infringing or trampling on your neighbor's property rights and the benefits and protection afforded to them by the current zoning. Also, we are well aware that the comprehensive plan is not set in stone and is just a tool, but it is a tool we depend on. In the county's own statement of intent, the Rural Preservation District was established for the specific purposes of maintaining the rural character and facilitating existing and future crop farms and non-intensive agricultural operations, the conservation of natural resources, and the discouraging of suburban sprawl. When citizens look at the comp plan, they do use it as a tool. When they see an area zoned in a particular way which affords them the conditions they seek to live, such as a rural atmosphere, or if they choose near shopping and county utilities, that is where they buy or rent. When there is so much land zoned commercial, business, or even labeled for future development, they resent a rezoning or special exemption being placed next door or well within an RP zoned area. It is akin to someone moving into community with an HOA and proffers so they will be protected from certain aspects of normal neighborhood living. You feel that the HOA will enforce the rules that give you the quality of life you are seeking. How would residents in these communities feel if a new HOA president or board allowed new elements into the community with excuses of boosting home sales or meeting of friends or their own wants or needs? While possibly not affecting the whole community, some residents will be affected by the change, and in time the whole character of the neighborhood could change. We look to you to embrace the intent and purpose of these zoning districts. We look to you to protect us and our children's rights to enjoy our property. Be thoughtful and careful where and what changes are allowed. I am sure there are county agencies that can assist those wanting to do business within the county to locate suitable properties in appropriately zoned areas and in those slated for development. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lambert. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding any matter? Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding any matter? Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding any matter? Okay, hearing none, the public comment section is declared closed. We will, normally we don't respond to public comments, but at this time I will. For Mr. Terry, Mr. Norton, where'd you go? Okay, thank you. I can't see that far. All right. You stay there. I've asked Mr. Parton if he will look directly into the things you're asking about the reorganization. So Mr. Parton will be your point of contact, and you can work from him, and then he'll bring that to the board if that's the final result. And for all of the people who came to talk about the schools, the Board of Supervisors has proposed a joint meeting with the school board to actually discuss the school. Officially, the Board of Supervisors has no understanding or knowledge of anything other than what we've read in the paper. I've asked Mr. Parton to communicate with the school system to get us information directly and officially on what the budget shortfall was and where the schools are. So if we said yes to you right now, we wouldn't know what that number was. So we plan, and as the latter part of our agenda, is to decide when we're going to have that joint meeting with the school board. For those of you who don't know, the county borrowed $3 million and got a $6 million federal grant / loan for a total of $9 million. So that's how much funding the county put forward to this project. And I understand from just what I read in the paper, the bids came in at $12 million. So they're apparently $3 million short. And I think there was just what I read in the paper again, a $500,000 architectural fee that's included. So I see Dr. Kilo in the back. Mr. Parton has communicated with the school board office. As soon as we get the official numbers, we can kind of sit down with the school board and discuss what our plan of action is. But until we get those, we can't really do anything until then. And we will try to schedule a joint meeting with the school board at a later part in our agenda. So having said that, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is the adoption of the regional water supply plan for Caroline County and the town of Bowling Green. I think we had discussed this before, and the only thing we had was a decision about whether we should make our approval before the town of Bowling Green did or not, and we're still in that same position. Is that right, Mr. Schiebel?
That's correct. We've had a conversation with the DEQ about our submission. We have met with the town of Bowling Green and worked with them and have made changes reflected as you all have received in your package. And the Water Committee, consisting of 2 town council members, have approved that to send forth to town council, who has approved their public hearing, which will be this Thursday. DEQ has recommended, as our plan is due on November 2nd, that the board adopt the resolution and our section of the plan and submit it on tomorrow. As long as it's postmarked by tomorrow, we have met our requirements. We do not anticipate any changes to the Bowling Green section. However, we won't know until their public hearing if anything has changed. With that, I would recommend approving the resolution for the water supply plan. Glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Schiebel? I think we're basically in the same position we were 2-3 weeks ago.
Other than we now have a concurrence with the town that they agree with what the plan has now.
Oh, okay.
There were some issues last time that they still had some outstanding issues that we have addressed and made some changes that they are now happy with.
Okay. That's a big differentiator. Questions?
I guess that's what I was going to ask, is where was the town? Because I got this yesterday, and I got to say I haven't finished it. I did see some further delineation of wells in the town and boundaries and that kind of stuff. Is that basically all that's been changed?
That there was some language that was added as far as working with the town and the county for the future development of the service area between the Milford area and the town of Bowling Green, and basically we've matched the map in accordance with the comp plan. That was one of the changes that they definitely wanted to see changed. We removed any wording that was in there that said Milford Sanitary District to Milford Service Area, as we no longer operate the sanitary district. So we removed all of that. And then there's been a few word changes in Section 8 underneath of the town, which we've highlighted to you in the memo. In no way has it really affected the county's part of the plan, other than changing the service area map for the town. And that was really amending the areas that they actually serve. The original map showed the town boundary. They actually have Maury Heights, section out 301, section up Route 2 to VDOT that they actually serve that is outside of the town. And then including the future service area that was in the comp plan.
Thank you.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Akers, you had a question?
At any point did we discuss with the town the ability of the town to help the county if there were concerns with water issues? And I know we're not hooked to them right now, but I think we probably have lines that are pretty, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're pretty close. We're within 500 feet or so between our service area and their service area,
Right.
and it'd be fairly easily to do. One of the changes that were actually made in the original water supply plan, it said that the county would provide water to the town of Bowling Green, and the town of Bowling Green said, well, it doesn't say anything about us providing water to you. So that's one of the changes that we made, because it's very feasible for them to do that. And as soon as we were done with this, the beginning of next year, we really want to sit down and talk with them about a possible connection on an emergency basis between the two locations in case, one, they have a problem or we have a problem, that we can support each other if that's needed.
That was my concern, is the fact that, I knew there was something about us supplying water, but I also saw in here where they indicated they had ample water to take care of their needs, and so if that's the case, they may be able to help us at some point if we need it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Popowitz?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the resolutions presented by staff and move this forward to the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Second. Second. Motion made by Mr. Popowitz, second by Mr. Underwood, to approve the adoption of the Regional Water Supply Plan with the county and the town of Bowling Green. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item number 5 was continued discussion of Fred. Mr. Parton, I believe we had a couple of questions regarding Fred, one of which was how we could get out of this agreement if we entered into a multiple-year agreement. The other, I believe Mr. Seeley in particular had a question about the costs of the additional buses in the service facility. Mr. Parton?
Mr. Chairman, in response to your first question, I did speak with Bev Cameron, the Fredericksburg City Manager, and he indicated that he would be very willing to discuss a mutually agreeable way to get out of the agreement before the 5 years is up, provided that we met all the other conditions. In light of the George Washington Regional Commission Transportation Alternative Study, which will not be completed in time to make this decision. With regard to the second issue, Mr. Cameron has indicated that our projected cost for bus replacement over the 5 years that we would be asked to enter into the agreement is about $7,700 total, not per year, total over the 5-year period. The reason that's so low is that they get 100% CMAQ funding for bus replacement, and so they're able to keep the cost of the participating localities very low.
Thank you, Mr. Parton. Any questions? Mr. Seeley, you had a question before. Is that satisfying?
Well, I just think it's interesting they get 100% reimbursement. They want us to pay $7,700. I just, okay.
And I'm just guessing, but I would think some of that would be in their facilities and things of that nature. You know, you're a businessman. You know
I
how that
understand.
works.
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Akers?
Is it possible, and have we discussed with them, they're talking about 2 routes, and the 2 routes that will be established in July of 2012 may not be the same 2 routes that will be acceptable to the county in 2013 and 14. Is there something in here that says, because it appears that